Okay, screw that.
Well, you caught me almost with my pants down, but I was looking at.
I have to take advantage of the fact that the Uncanny Omar is a surprise guest. I don't even have my mask on. Here's my mask.
Clock's ticking, baby. Clock's ticking. Now, to just let it all out there, Jess Bragg, OmniDog 616, hired me to be on OmniBros tonight for approximately 25 minutes is all he could afford. That's my going rate, but I gave him the friend discount, so that's why I'm here. What's up, man? How are you?
I have to say, I'm going to say something nice about you, so prepare yourself.
I'm ready, baby.
I am going to say something nice. What up, pie eater?
Oh, dang it. Luis ruined the moment. He was about to say something beautiful.
I'm still going to say something nice about you. This is Omnibros Live with our fabulous guest, the Uncanny Omar.
Howdy.
I was feeling down in the dumps. I was feeling low yesterday. And Omar called me on the phone and told me what a jerk I was. No, he said,
"You're such a jackass."
He was just himself for half an hour and made me laugh and laugh. I was in a super funk. And when you're alone in the house, because my wife was out volunteering and I was just alone, feeling sorry for myself, and Omar called and made me feel better. So for the next 25 seconds, now let's see, how long will I give you? I'll give you till no, I'd rather just keep making fun of you.
Before all right, whatever, I don't care.
Here it is. Right on, man. Oh, they're all out in force now.
Well, what is this, Twilight? Why are we team anything? What's going on with that? I was down here in the basement prepping for my video here in the next week or so, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go in and say hi. I can do this while I'm saying hello to both of you guys. Are both of you on tonight? Is that it, or is Joey, Gabe, Riley? Who else is on the show? I can't keep up with this. Who else is on OmniBros?
Gio,
y'all got
the astonishing Melanie,
Taylor, right? Taylor loves Taylor. Taylor and Tyler.
Your wife, Melanie, your daughters.
My daughters join you guys. What are we outsourcing my family now? But yeah, man, I figured I would come down here for a few minutes and crash the party because I know how much you guys love having a party without me. So what's up, Louis? I ain't seen Luis since last year. What's up, dude? Well, I mean, we talk on a daily basis, but that's through chat, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going well, man. It's going well. Just doing a little bit of work on the downstairs, and I figured I'd jump in really quick. Omar made you feel better. How are you? Glad you're back. What's up, Omar and Lou? What's up, Lionheart? How are you, brother?
Yeah, William Lee surprised, but he was also Team OmniDog. So official Scott Stapp, the singer from Creed, is a fan of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Is the lead singer of Nickelback also in the chat?
Those two seem to be forever in people's minds. Is the way. I actually don't know either of those groups, except is Nickelback.
You don't own a Creed vinyl or a Nickelback vinyl.
I don't. But
I don't believe that.
I totally don't. I'd let you come check it out, but you're never visiting again.
Oh,
so
whatever. I got your address from Patty, dude. You just one night you're gonna wake up, all your shit's gonna be gone. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be at the front door with this big surprise for you.
I do have a dark OmniDog secret, and that is that I believe I do like a Nickelback song. Are they the ones that sang "Hero" in the first Spider-Man movie?
Yeah,
that's the one.
I kind of like that song, but
you're a Nickelback fan. That's okay.
It's the only Nickelback song.
There's nothing wrong with being a Nickelback fan. All of a sudden, it became the cool thing to hate Nickelback.
Oh, listen to Corporate Omar.
It's just like Bendis, right? Like I was such a hipster for hating Bendis back in 2002, 2003. Now it's like the cool thing to do, and I'm like, damn it! Now I kind of want to like Bendis. Fight the system, man.
Here's Carly, Larry's Library. How's it going?
What's up, Larry? How's it going, buddy? Carly. Adrian's here. Yeah, so what are you guys talking about? You guys have a You guys have a something, right? Like your favorite cookies, your favorite donuts. What are we talking about tonight? What are we talking about? Mad Libs. I can't keep up with the
Mad Libs.
We will still ask about it.
Mad Libs. No, you all. What was it that you all did? Pop Tarts. It was the Pop Tarts episode.
We did do Pop-Tarts.
There's a new banana bread Pop-Tart, and I'm looking forward to it. I want it to taste that. They had a limited edition Pop-Tart shawl that they made, and I don't wear shawls. I don't need a shawl, but I was in that sweepstakes to win it because I don't know why I have a problem, because it was like only 60 of them were hand knit with little Pop-Tarts as like a wrap around you. And my wife wouldn't even wear that, but I had so much FOMO, I wanted it. And that was to promote their banana bread Pop-Tart, which I want, along with the chocolate peanut butter pie that I'm getting in less than 2 weeks. Oh no, it's 2 weeks today.
We finished that, by the way. We polished off that chocolate peanut butter pie. It was delicious.
Boo frickin' who.
It was so good.
I'm not sorry to see it go.
Wait a minute. You talking about the Costco one?
Oh yeah, $20. It was 5 pounds. It was amazing.
My wife is a big fan of Costco cake, and I'm like, what? That's not a thing. And then she gave me a slice, and I was like, wow, that's pretty damn good. That's a pretty good cake, man.
Speaking of really good things, we've got In Stock Trades as our fabulous sponsor, where you can get your collected editions 38 to 65% off, depending on what sale you hit. This week, I noticed they were trying to bait me on the new Madman edition at 50% off, which is extremely, I'm getting it. So I might as well get it from them at 50% off. That's quite a deal. At the end of every month, we give away a $50 gift card, courtesy of InStockTrades.com. Don't forget your 2% loyalty discount that couples up with those really nice discounts. $50 or more in order to get you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Very nice. Very nice. Wait, you FOMO'd yourself into getting the Madman series?
Well, no, I'm committed to getting that whole thing because I love Madman.
You know, there's 5 of them, right?
Well, now
there's going to be 6.
Yeah, it goes 6, 5, 6,
well,
5.
He himself said there's enough for 6.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Of course it is.
Wasn't a lot of that stuff was out of print for a while, right?
A lot of this stuff has never been printed too.
Oh,
not under the same label. So,
yeah, the Atomic stuff was all out of print.
You own the big, what was it, the library edition? What is it, that the Madman edition or whatever it was called?
Super fancy 25th edition.
Yeah, that thing was beautiful.
Yeah, you stay away from that.
Oh, that's mine. I got dibs on it. Oh man, I claimed it. It's too late.
Lionheart has something for you, Omar.
Omar, incoming Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal coming your way. Double box fam. No, you can go to hell with that, Lionheart.
I can't believe that's the best cereal on the market and you don't like it.
I'm not a fan of cinnamon. I've told you this. It's like licking the. Well, never mind.
Okay.
This is not
the cranberry and whiskey is just a suitable substance.
Let me tell you something. Cranberry and whiskey. I'm the only member of my family that ain't had no damn kidney stones. My doctor was like, I'm sure that has nothing to do with you drinking cranberry with your whiskey. And I'm like, but I'm not stopping. So until I get one, just saying. It has saved me from kidney stones so far in the 45 years I've been on this planet.
Smash that like button. Thank you. Oh, Natural Bridge trying to build my legend. Thank you. OmniDog can build a snowman out of rain. Thank you, buddy.
Wow, look at people just worship the ground you walk on, Jess. What have you done to these people? You give them Pop-Tart episodes, and all of a sudden everybody loves OmniDog. Is that the secret?
Yeah, just being honest about that shawl and that Pop-Tart. Yeah. I don't need a shawl. It was limited edition, and so I wanted it. Yeah, I'm sick. Sickness. I have a sickness. Here's YP. What up, YP? Yeah, we actually have a pretty good topic if we actually get to it. if we were going to rebuild our collection today or restart it, what 10 books would we restart it with?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm gonna write that down so I can steal it for one of my episodes.
That's
All right,
typical.
go
Yeah.
ahead, so I can steal your answers too, Jess.
I'm not telling you.
Man,
Okay, first,
we have so many-
Transformers.
Yes.
Transformers is 1 through 9, and then Chuck Austin's X-Men is number 10.
Wow. I didn't even have to lie to you. Look at you. This is a good question because, we've been around collecting these things for such a long time, and the game has changed. There's so much available in this format.
Yeah.
I get overwhelmed just thinking about what if I just started collecting today? How many Omnis compared to the, 1 or 2 we used to get every couple of months? How many are there? There's like 8 to 10 to 15 being released every month. Now, of course, that's starting to slow down again. But holy crap. Like, it would just be overwhelming. And I'm an X-Men guy. So I'm like, oh, I got to get Uncanny. And then I got to get it. New Mutants, and then by God, I got to get Wolverine, and then let's not forget Excalibur, New Mutants, and then I already said New Mutants,
and then
X Factor,
New Warriors.
Oh, New Warriors is the number 1 book you need to get, brother. All right, that's a good question. Lou, are you still getting books, brother?
Nah.
You're out.
I'm all digital. It's too much of a hassle, especially with the space we're living in right now. And not only that, it's just more convenient and cost efficient for me.
Now let me ask you this, because I only read some things digitally, like because I have the Marvel and but I did have Comixology, because Maddie would always pick a newer book to read for old reader, new reader. How does that work? Is it like the Nintendo shop or any of these e-stores where you buy something? Okay, let's say you buy something digitally from Marvel. Like Conan. Let's say you bought a bunch of Conan through Marvel Unlimited. Once they lose the license to Conan, does that immediately disappear and you can't re-download it, or how does that work?
So I'm not entirely sure as far as the issue with Conan, but I know with Marvel Unlimited, I would assume you are able to download stuff onto your tablet and use it as you want to. It's not like they could reach. It's obviously not like they could reach into your tablet and delete it or anything like that.
So you're downloading it physically. It's not a cloud-based.
You can do either or. You could stream, or you could stream it, or whatever the term is.
Yeah, you can read it online.
Yeah.
But that's a good question about Conan.
Well, that's just one of the little things, though. Like, with licensed products, where I think of like IDW with Ghostbusters. Once they lost the rights to Ghostbusters, they pulled all that stuff digitally. So I thought, okay, what happens if you lose your hard drive and you downloaded it and you can't go back and re-download it because they don't have it available, but you've already paid for it. And it goes back to that whole topic of video games, digital video games and physical video games, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always an issue with those things, especially when there's a team of people working together that sometimes butt heads and don't agree and things just go missing. So I was curious how that would work with something like Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, we just went through that because the DS shop just shut down.
Right.
Nintendo, and there's a lot of stuff on there. There are people that are game preservationists and things like that, and they're kind of bummed out because there's a good amount of stuff on there that is just gone since they shut it down.
And is it gone from your ability to play it too? Well, how did the DS shop work?
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, the DS shop works in the same way, right? Like if you download it and you bought it, you own it as long as you have your login. However, if you lose your DS and you put your ID on another DS, you can't go back to the shop because there is no more shop.
It's done.
They close shop, meaning that you're either going to have to rebuy it physically or you're going to have to, find the seas out there, with guys with eye patches and the booties. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it happens. And I was curious how comics digitally would handle that. So I guess there's really not, luckily we haven't gotten to that point, right? Where things are starting to disappear because, licensing or this was outsourced to another company.
I don't think there's any Conan on Marvel Unlimited.
I don't know if there was or not. Well, there isn't now, right?
Because
because now that it's owned by Titan.
What happened with that exactly? Was it just a time deal that they had Conan, and then that expired? Because he was in Savage Avengers. He had his own line for a little bit there. He was in quite a few things.
The deal was supposed to last a lot longer, but some contracts were breached, and whenever you put something public out there, lawyers get involved, and it wasn't a good thing on both ends. So they ended it quicker, and
I mean that's kind of why I speculated why Savage Avengers wasn't or isn't even on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, which sucks, and that's the big question: is if it goes out of print, can it be reprinted?
Probably not.
Because we have a lot of properties or a lot of books that use the character Robert E. Howard's characters, like what's Shumagorath, for example, right? Like Shumagorath, the name, and that appears in Doctor Strange, and maybe that's why we haven't had a proper collection of that era with his first appearance yet in omnibus format. But I think they've done Masterworks, or Cooling Goth in Uncanny X-Men has shown up. So there are some weird, but it seems like Marvel's having a good relationship with Titan Comics, though, because they're letting Titan Comics is the only publisher outside of Marvel that has ever reprinted a Marvel cover inside of the book with a Marvel logo. That is unheard of. But because Corey worked at both the restoration of the Marvel Conan issues in omnibus format and is working, outsourced from Titan, he kind of has the people, the people's ear of hey, can we do this? So maybe they'll go back in the hell is Bar? Do Bar watches OmniBros? Yo, Bar, the title of this program is called Omniboslive. Bar. Oh my gosh. So I think maybe, that would make sense to me. Hey, we'll let you print our covers. How about you let us reprint Conan in Modern Avengers? I don't know. That's a deal definitely for lawyers, right? That's outside of the Department of Collected Editions. So.
Yeah, part of the reason why the Shang-Chi stuff wasn't printed for a while was Fu Manchu. There were rights issues with Fu Manchu, right?
Yeah, and they've retconned that in the new series. You gave him a new origin and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Who owned Fu Manchu?
I don't know. Not Marvel.
Huh. I wasn't even aware he was a comic character outside of that run. I thought they stopped because it was so stereotypically racist or something.
It was the Omnis were a one-time deal sort of thing.
Yeah.
They would just be printing it one time and that's it. Once they go out of print, they go out of print. There was never going to be a reprint system, program available for those. So,
Roguish Type, he's happy with us.
What's up, Roguish Type? How are you, brother?
Rick Ray, who has impeccable taste. I'm enjoying the Ablaze Sumerian stories. More publishers should make attempts at adapting the Robert E. Howard stuff.
Right, because they can call it Sumerian, and they're doing Baalit and Valeria as well. Okay. I have read the first two hardcovers of the Sumerian, and they're fun, but I kind of wish that they had another writer I don't know, maybe I got used to Roy Thomas in there that could write mature content, boobies and violence, with an actually really good story, because I feel like Sumerian focuses more on boobies and violence, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all need that in our lives from time to time. But I feel I kind of miss those deeper stories of Conan. But kind of finding a middle ground, if you will.
Would you say? Did you ever get a chance to read the Kurt Busiek stuff? Because I found the Kurt Busiek stuff pretty strong. I enjoyed what I read of it.
That's what got me into Conan. I loved it, man.
And the art is beautiful as well. The art.
Was it Gary Nord, right? Gary Nord did that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, Nord. Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. But yeah, I would say for somebody out there that is really kind of jonesing for Conan stuff, read the Kurt Busiek stuff. The Kurt Busiek run is fantastic. The Colossal Conan is unwieldy, and I think it's out of print, massively so at this point. But I highly recommend you go check that out. And then Brian Wood had a run on Conan as well that I heard was very good.
Yeah, his I like Tim Truman's run. That one's the one that doesn't really get talked about very often. He did some really solid stuff. Brian Wood did I think Brian Wood ended up doing the last of the Conan series.
He did the older
that
Conan.
led into the King Conan stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of like what he did with Star Wars, he was the last person to write Star. Oh my gosh. Bar's just as crazy in here as she is everywhere else. What should we talk about, Bar?
Rick Nelson says Conan was never on MU.
Marvel's the old
Alien Predators likely owned by Disney. Wants to say about Fox, so you might see them on MU. Wow, knowledgeable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there you go. You weren't missing out on anything. Yes, Celine and Cool Goth. I love that story, dude. Yes. Oh,
Darkwave. What up?
The Black Queen. Very nice. All right. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your conversation. You guys go ahead. Top 10 books to start.
No, it's way too early to start the topic. We haven't finished.
How do you guys start your topic?
Like 10.
9:30.
I gotta get out of here in a few minutes because I promised my kids I go play Jackbox games with them. They have it's another reason why I'm in my basement. There's a bunch of little girls upstairs because it's spring break for them, so they have a bunch of their little friends over.
Jesus, you guys have spring break late.
We didn't even have spring break when I was in school. No, we had spring break. We didn't have fall break when I was in school. I thought fall break was something they just made up recently. So 10 books, Omnis, Epics. What are we talking about?
10 books.
All right, I'll do Jess's, okay? New Warriors Volume 1, Ghost in the Shell, the Omnibus Edition. What else does Jess hate? Transformers, Phase 2, Volume 1. Squirrel Girl, the unspeakable Squirrel Girl, the big omnibus, and the Marvel Digest size. So it's easier to take to the bathroom, and his leg doesn't fall asleep. Let's see here. What else does Jess hate?
Rick Nelson has a good one.
Werewolf by Night.
Batman, damn, that's a good one. What's the thing you poured root beer on? Was it the
Batman
Kevin Smith?
Damned?
Oh, I thought it was the Kevin Smith book.
Oh yeah, I poured root beer on that too.
Yeah, so you'd have the Kevin Smith Omnibus collection of Batman.
That's Henry Abrams' book, the Spider-Man one.
That was bad. That book, Steve Orlando's Justice League.
That you had me buy like your first time on the show.
You're testing the waters. I'm seeing how gullible these people were. Well, you guys
Orlando in general.
What else do you hate? You hate a lot of things.
Astonishing Wolfman.
You did hear that one, yeah.
Yeah, that was an expensive book.
Yeah, man. That's when people were like, why can't you donate that to the library? And you were like, I don't want to make those poor kids go through that same garbage I just went through.
100%.
All right. All kidding aside, Jess, what would be your first pick? If you had to do it all over again, you didn't own a single book, what would be your first book to get?
Here at the top of the pile to restart my collection. Now, there's going to be recency bias, but that's because I think comics are so much better today than they were in the past. So I'm not going to be pulling like Flash, Silver Age, and Supergirl. As much as I love it, Legion of Superheroes, that's not what I would pull. The first thing I would pull would be Jason Aaron's Thor. This is the Thor that I think is the most readable, the most exciting, the most interesting. Now I haven't finished it because I've got 7 OHCs of it plus War of the Realms. But the first 3 books I read, and I was captivated and spellbound and thought this was peace and love to Walt Simonson. I know everybody loves his run, but this is the run that I would start my collection with from Marvel. Thor by Jason Aaron, and a big pain in the ass used sticker on this.
Oh, Jess, you know how to get rid of that, right?
Matches and fire, right? You can just burn it off.
You buy the omnibus, and you just toss that book. That's how you get rid of that sticker. What about you, Lou? That's a good dude. That's a solid choice, Jess. Not gonna lie, it's a solid choice.
Thank you.
If I had to restart it, Hellboy Library Edition Volume 1. It's a beautiful collection, loads of supplemental material, and you, honest to God, you can't beat the price for it. I think it collects the first 3 volumes of Hellboy, if I'm not mistaken. Not only that, I've started rereading Hellboy again, and it's just so good. It's rough at the very beginning, and you can kind of tell that John Byrne influence that's in the story. For example, Hellboy has an internal monologue, and that's only present in the first volume. After that, it's completely gone. So it's a little bit rough, but man, it's such a fun story, and it sets up so much right from the very beginning that it's going to pay off years and years and years and years down the line. So absolutely recommend that one.
It's a good choice. I can't stay long, gentlemen, so I'm just going to make this quick. I would buy up Usagi Yojimbo Library Edition Volume 1, and I would buy every single copy of it and flip. I wouldn't even have a channel anymore. I'm not even going to lie. There wouldn't be no Uncanny Omar, no Near Me Condition. I'd just be flipping books left and right on eBay to people like Jess.
Hey, I found my copy in the wild.
I would start a channel just to FOMO people like Jess into buying these books. I'm like, oh, you'll need this in your library, or all your friends are going to make fun of you. This is Usagi Yojimbo Library, or the limited edition Volume 1. Man, this is a hard question because, you know, when you start doing these collections, like, you think you're doing it right. You're like, okay, I'm going to get Uncanny 1, and that's it. And then you branch out to other books, and then, oh my gosh, before you know it, your whole livelihood depends on your library. Man, I don't think I would do that different. I think Uncanny 1 would be my first book.
Nice.
Just because it's my childhood. I know the stories collected in there, and it's an oversized format. Yeah. That would be the one. New spine or old spine? I guess if I'm new to the game, I don't care. I'll take a new spine. If I got into the game about 3 years ago, I'd take an old spine. But yeah, I think Uncanny 1 is still my number one choice. I think everything else from that is different.
There's Larry's choices.
See, those are solid, though.
Yeah.
The Uncanny Flipper. Now people like James are going to take that out of context.
Yeah, James, clip that.
James, go ahead, James.
James has been running wild in the very fine condition Discord. I
don't know how this man does it, but I think he's got bots that work for him or something. He just does these searches and they quickly turn up like things from the past he shouldn't have said. Really super laugh hard? I think not.
Here's Derek Tyler's choices. Wow.
Crisis on Infinite Earths box set, Nocturnals Omnibus Volume 1 and 2, and Absolute Batman Hush. Those are solid picks. I love that you went with Aliens. Those are good. I had a lot of fun reading those. There are a lot of stories in there I hadn't read.
Have you read Nocturnals, Omar?
Mm-hmm. The Dan Brereton stuff?
Yeah.
I hadn't read a lot of the stuff that was in Volume 2, but I had read all the stuff in Volume 1 in the past. I like it.
Yeah? Okay.
It's fun.
Because I really liked what he wrote in that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Was really funny. He made it a parody of Lord of the Rings, and it was super funny. And I just thought, oh, maybe Nocturnals would be my bag too, but I don't know.
It's got that weird middle ground of funny and horror, kind of like Hellboy, kind of like The Goon.
Okay.
Which sometimes it's hard to, people have done it. It's not like comics were the first thing to do comedy and horror. But definitely not easy to do. Only I think some people can do it. I thought Brereton did a good job. I really enjoyed them, both volumes.
Okay.
One more than two. Oh yes, Jess is going to be handling my Patreon's Q&A when I'm in Japan.
What? I'm
giving him the keys to the kingdom, and by the time I come back, my channel's going to be gone. Taken over by Russian sex bots or something.
I'll get T-Lar Blunt on, and we'll burn the thing down.
Oh my gosh! I'll come back, and it's taken over by the Russian sex bots. That's all I need. I think people. Man, like, what would I like to go back and reread for the first time in a big hardcover collection?
That's a good way to look at it.
I think, Power Rangers would be there, honestly. I really, really like that year one. I've never really watched the show, but that Power Rangers year one was solid, man. That was really good. And I wasn't lying about Usagi. I'd get Usagi all over again in hardcover format. Oof. This is the Duck books, the Don Rosa Duck book. Who's giving me that gift? Yeah, the Duck books, the Akira box set, things like that. 2 thumbs down. Jeez, Jess, you're so judgmental tonight.
I'm finally having fun with the controls here. I can
Oh,
never
you finally
really
learned
do
to
them.
use them. I'm so proud of you. Did you watch a video on how to use your StreamYard?
Yeah, it was on VF Condition, how to do StreamYard, and it was a direct link to somebody else's channel.
Last one for me, and then I gotta get going because my kids are waiting for me. The Starman, Conroy Jet said it. James Robinson Starman. I would have it.
One of Lou's favorites.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely one that I would rebuy all over again.
I read it every night to put myself to sleep.
What, sweetie? Yes, I'm coming, my love. All right, gentlemen, I got to get out of here. You guys enjoy. Have a great show.
It's great having you, buddy. Take care.
For a little bit. Bye, guys.
Take it easy.
Oh, Berserk Deluxe Edition. Why did I say that?
Let's see. Is your memory wiped and you're reading these books for the first time, or just I I think the idea is that if we were just starting out, this is my interpretation of it. It's not what we think is new reader friendly, but if we were just starting out and knowing our taste, what 10 books would we like to start with that might get us further involved in comics? Does that sound right, Lou?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's good. For me, my next one would be New Frontier, the Absolute Edition.
Oh, yeah. You love that book.
I absolutely adore that book. Darwin Cook is my favorite writer and artist of all time. And New Frontier, I think, is the perfect comic. I don't think it gets better than New Frontier. The coloring, the art, the story, it's incredible all the way through. It's brilliant.
I have that in Absolute and Deluxe.
Oh, beautiful stuff, man. Do you have the reprinted Absolute with the extra issue in it? Or?
No, that's why I have the Deluxe. Because at the time, it was the only way I could get the extra issue.
That's
let's see. Tasty Melon has some good choices. Watchmen, Upgrade Soul, Deaths of Layla Starr, and Ed Brubaker crime books. Bar's serious for a second. Harley Quinn's Omnis 1 through 3, All New Wolverine, Batman by Loeb and Sale, Superman by Tomasi, Dr. Aphra, and Wonder Woman by Perez. Those are all good books.
Good choices. Very good choices.
My first 10 comics as a kid would shock some. The Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers were read before The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
Wow. I've never even read the Furry Freak Brothers. I know who they are. Somebody else. Oh, James. Omnibus come to mind are Aquaman by Johns, iZombie, good choice, Wonder Woman by George Perez, and TMNT Compendium Volume 1. Derek says Nocturnals has a horror pulp feel. I think Jess would love Gunwitch. Is she a character in Nocturnals? Gunwitch. I like the sound of that already.
I love these recommendations the fans have tonight. They're really good.
And here's Lars from Norway. I got it right. First series I get are Sandman, Valerian, Blueberry, Prince Valiant, and Fables. I was pulling Fables and picked something else, but Fables I agree with. I've never read Valerian, and Blueberry is very hard to collect in the US, although I have some, but
no. So somebody that's just starting out, let's say we start over again from scratch. I don't know. I think Sandman might be a little bit much, personally, for somebody that's starting over.
Well,
there's a lot of literary references in there.
Yeah, it was one of the first things that I
started back in the late 80s, it and Hellblazer. And I kind of dug it immediately, but I didn't pull it because I wondered if it would be too much for me now. Although I mean, I'd still love it as much as I did, and I'm not any smarter. In many ways, I'm dumber than I was back in '89. So, I don't know. That's a good question, because I almost pulled Fables and I almost pulled Sandman, but what I pulled was a book I really love from Marvel, and that's House of X, Powers of X, Power 10.
Nice, good stuff. That's just the mini series, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I loved this, and I know who everybody is. My knowledge of X-Men is way more than it was when I liked Last Stand or whatever it was in the movie theaters back in 2002 that Omar loves to jam me up about. I was just happy for a superhero movie. But I feel like this is a perfect X-Men book. Everybody shines. The Moira stuff is really amazing. I just think this is X-Men comics done really well. And I think that starting out, this might be a better introduction to me than New X-Men, even though that's what started my X-Men. That's what started me on X-Men. I think this might be even better for me to start out with.
I think that does a very good job of, if somebody just has a passing interest in X-Men, I think they could read that and they'd be pretty satisfied for the most part with a good story.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, here's Death Rattle. This is a good one. That was part of Jess in the late 80s reading stuff that blew his mind. Miracle Man by Moore. Yeah. Okay. Death Witch or whatever. It's a he. He's from Nocturnals. Okay.
Cool.
I have Fable as one, but I get so lazy when I think about how long it is. You should wish it was twice as long because it's so awesome. Some people think it dips in the middle. I'm not one of them, but other people do. I will say that Great Fables crossover was pretty lame, but
Jack of Fables. Oh,
yeah, Jack of Fables. It's hard to believe it's the same writer.
Yeah.
But Fairest is a book that I really loved. I'd love to see that in oversized hardcover because I loved all of Fairest.
I would love to see the Cinderella stuff. The Cinderella stuff was great.
Yeah, you're right. The Cinderella ones were really good. Kate Quinn says, Brian K. Vaughan, Why the Less Man?
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I get it. It can seem... I started reading it in singles, and then I finished it, and then that's when I started buying the books. But yeah, I can see how you might see something like that as sort of a block to continuing.
Yeah, that's a block for me with a lot of manga. So how many volumes is it? Oh, it's 74 volumes. I'm okay.
Yeah,
I don't need that much in my life.
Let's see. I had a hard time finding this, and I thought maybe it's because Omnicat stole it from me to read. But Superman Birthright, after she pranked the hell out of me on Saturday, by Mark Waid, this is what should have been turned into the first Superman movie. It gives the reason. Everybody knows that he's considered the big blue Boy Scout, but why does he use his powers for good instead of evil? And this gets into Ma and Pa Kent and how he was raised and how they imprinted upon him how to become a good person, and that he had a gift that could be used. I was going to pick All-Star Superman because I had a hard time finding this, but this is the Superman book. Yeah, this is the only Superman book I'm picking. It was close with All-Star Superman because I love that book.
For me, my next choice would be Uncanny X-Force.
I
think it's the perfect X-Men story. I think it's for one, it's great. It's badass. And you've got this fantastic team that Rick Remender just absolutely knows how to write. He gets the character dynamics. He gets all the motivations, and each one of those characters goes through an amazing arc, especially everything involving Angel and him fighting the evil that's inside him and his relationship with Psylocke. And oh my God, I could go on and on about that run. I think it's brilliant. And when Remender just keeps adding characters to the roster as you go later on, you see how they interact and they play along with the other guys. I struggle to think of a modern day X-Men run outside of the Hickman stuff that is as good and as well written and thought out than that X-Force run. I love the thing. And not only that, if you don't get through the first volume of that book and think, I have to see where this is going to go now, I really don't understand what is wrong with you, because man, they do not fuck around at the end of that book. It is so good. And Jerome Pena's art, he's the biggest thing about this is that Jerome Pena is not able to keep a monthly book, because I would have loved to have seen his art be the sole thing. I would have waited months, years for Jerome Pena to have been the one to do the whole book, but he can't do it. He does the first volume, and it's gorgeous. And we get the second volume, which the art is not good, and I think he comes back a little bit later on for a couple more issues, and it's just beautiful stuff when he's on there.
Let's see. I'm enjoying the Krakoa X titles for the most part, but the Apex was Hoxpox. That stuff came after is good, but the Hoxpox was special. My entire library has the entire Fables Run and Trades, and I'm getting through it now. It's so good. John Anderson says Paper Girls. I looked at Paper Girls. Hoxpox is terrible for new X readers. I didn't understand anything, didn't know 90% of the series, and honestly made me want to stay away from X-Men. All-Star Superman. Yeah, we just talked about that. Roguish type. I got a few amazing Spider-Man masterworks as a teen, and that really made me love comics. That's awesome. Before that, I'd just have trading cards or read random issues. Well, think about what you're saying a little more carefully, maybe. Well, this will make Bar happy because, of course, you can't have OmniDog start his comic book collection without the main gal, Harley Quinn. This is the run that made me fall in love with her and want all versions of Harley in any capacity. Still jury's out on Lady Gaga, but I'm actually talking about books. This has everything: the humor, the violence, the fun, all the different personalities she has. This was just a blast for me, and I really didn't even expect it to be a blast, because I collected it in singles first, and then trades, and then hardcovers, whatever, and I finally ended up with this. But this just makes me happy to be a comic book fan. Just so much fun is in this book. So I think I'd really want to start with that again.
Great choice.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with a bit of a left field choice for me, and it's Ecstatics.
Oh, I still haven't read that.
Yeah, Ecstatics is so fun. It's such a brilliant and well-written story. It's Mike Allred. He handles the art, and I forgot who does
Peter Milligan.
Peter Milligan. And that is just a dream team. They crush it. It's such a brilliant commentary on Hollywood, on social media, even at its early stages at the time, and the obsession with people. And oh God, I love Ecstatics. It's so good. It originally started out as an X-Force book, but then pretty much everybody at the beginning, the first issue gets wiped out, and it made me go, okay, who's the team here? And he introduces his real team in the second issue. I love Ecstatics. For those of you out there that if you're looking for something really fun and funny as all get out, I think you can't do any better. I mean, hell, They didn't get approved for it, but they wanted Princess Diana on the team at one point for ecstatic.
What? I never heard that.
Or something like that. They did a cover with her on it, or they wanted her to be one of the characters that's a ghost on the team. And they said, no, we can't have you have Princess Diana be one of the members of your death squad, basically. Which I would have given him the go ahead. Yeah, go for it. Let's see what happens, man.
I never knew that.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Saga,
man,
Barry Windsor Smith monster.
So good.
Unpopular opinion, Kyle and Yost X-Force. I just happen to have those right here.
Oh, that stuff. I couldn't get into that. I couldn't get into the run.
I haven't read it yet.
I've tried. It didn't do it for me.
Candy X-Force is #1 reprint wish right now. I'm sure it will be. Not enough Opena. Oh, William Lee has a big list. Sculptor, Flintstones. I looked at that. Then Omnibus of Kenny X-Force, Johnny X-Men, Why the Last Man, Captain America Brubaker. I also looked at that. Hawkeye, Gotham Central, and those are all great books. All great books. We have to say goodbye to Bar. It's time for Passover dinner with the fam. Thanks for stopping in, Bar, and happy Passover to you. Okay, so they are fighting in the chat, which is not unusual. The pro. Oh, that's funny.
All right, here we go, Jess. Let me read this real quick.
Okay.
So the ghost of the deceased Princess Diana was intended to join the Ecstatics in an Ecstatic 15, but the ensuing controversy caused the character to be rewritten. So they chickened out at the last minute.
Wow. I just had no idea. That's amazing. I love they thought of that, though.
Marcelo's saying, I really want to... Oh, my bad.
Where is Marcelo? Here or
852? 852.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit behind. Okay.
I really want to read Ecstatics. I will get the reprint when it finally comes. You want to know the kicker of that is that people that want that book now, it was going for like $20 at one point, and it was on the what was it? Ollie's sale. You could pick it up for $20.
I remember it was on the shelf gathering dust for the longest time at Third Eye Comics.
Mm-hmm.
No one was interested in it. But I do really want to read Ecstatics. I should make that my goal. Ultimates by Mark Miller and Hitch. That's a good choice, I think.
It's very fun.
Here's a question. I haven't read Walking Dead, so I can't say.
What's more relatable?
Well, you're either a zombie or you're some superhero.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how you can relate to either one. Now, if you're asking which one I think is the better of the two, I think Invincible is. I think Walking Dead plummets after about issue 48. While Invincible is strong. It's very strong almost all the way through.
I'd probably... Well, your Bendis Daredevil Omnis, yeah. Everything by Hugo Pratt is incredible. Also check out Indian Summer and El Gaucho, which he did with Milo Manera, collected in the Manera Library from Dark Horse. That's somewhere in the new Omar box. Let's see. Can't start over without my favorite book ever, because this always gives me a jolt of pleasure whenever I read this series. I love this book so much.
I know you do, man. I know you do.
I loved it from the very beginning to the very last page. I'm hard pressed. I mean, when you think of Mark Waid, you know, Kingdom Come is like the first thing. I almost pulled Kingdom Come too. Did I pull it? No. Mark Waid just has so many good books that he's written. Yeah. I just showed Superman Birthright. But this really struck a chord with me for some reason, and I've always loved it. And I think that if I'm starting over, this this has perfect elements of the modern kind of storytelling with incredibly out there thinking that's really shows really good imagination, and then he pulls it all back into a great ending that really hit me in the feels. So honestly, to me, this is the perfect comic book.
Awesome, man. Let me think. For me, if I were to have to go with one, I'm gonna go with Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run.
Oh,
I think it's
yeah.
Jeff Johns is a writer that we have talked about a lot over the last few years. I think most recently his stuff hasn't been as strong as the stuff in the past. I've heard his Image stuff is great though, that he's firing on all cylinders there. I think that out of everything that Jeff Johns has done, and he's done a lot of incredible stuff writing wise, his Green Lantern run is probably going to be the thing that he will be remembered the most for. When all is said and done and he's not doing comics anymore, his Green Lantern run is going to be something along the lines of Claremont writing X-Men and Frank Miller writing Daredevil. It's that top tier stuff where he took a character that, you know, Green Lantern, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't exactly like, oh, I got to pick up Green Lantern every week, every month.
They had done so many weird things to him.
Yeah, and Jeff Johns said, okay, I'm going to fix pretty much everything wrong that's been done with the character for about 20 years, and we are just going to set a new status quo, and we're going to move forward. I love the book. I think it's perfect, and Hal Jordan isn't my Green Lantern. You know, I kind of grew up with Kyle Rayner and all those other guys, and Jon Stewart because of the Justice League TV show. But goddamn, if he doesn't make you root for Hal Jordan and him coming back, and such a great run, honestly. And the artists, a bunch of really extremely talented artists have jumped on that book, and they killed it. It's a fantastic run.
Just the emotional spectrum alone, I think, was an incredibly great invention. I mean, it let it branch out into so many good stories, and just that thought was amazing. And now people will get a chance to read Green Lantern Corps alongside it, like you and I did a few years ago, and just really experience how great that whole universe was.
Yeah, no, that's a requirement. Everybody here should read that run at some point. Yeah,
I agree. If you don't read that run in the next 2 years, you're going to be banned. Peace and love, banned. We talked about this already, the astonishing Wolfman that I root beered it. Sorry you're late, Cleveland Brown, but good to see you.
Nice to see you, bro.
John Byrne's Man of Steel run would make my list, but Adventures of Superman ties it down. Walking Dead's repetitive. I'd get Invincible. Oh, here's John George Pepper's complete Calvin and Hobbes. Astro City Metro book. How could I forget Astro City? Hoxpox, Superman Birthright, Wonder Woman Rebirth, and Absolute Batman Year One. Those are all good choices. Tasty Melon says Deadly Class. I can't wait for that next book to come out so I can finish the whole thing. My next choice to build on a new collection. This is complete recency bias, but I also think it's the best thing he's ever done. It was my top book of the last year, tied with in the number one spot. I can't wait to wait another couple months and read it again. This is the best thing he's ever written, and that's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, with Bilquis Evely's incredible art that deserves an absolute. I don't want to see this in deluxe next. I want to see this in absolute next because her artwork is astonishingly great.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and this takes so many good twists and turns, but it makes Supergirl relatable. We had a question earlier, what's more relatable? This is Supergirl feeling down in the dumps for herself, wants to go to a red sun planet, so she can get drunk and feel sorry for herself, because she's always in the shadow of Kal-El, and she ends up helping a young girl through a wide range of adventures that really show the true spirit and heart of Supergirl. I would want this to be in my restart. If I read all the books so far, I would be so excited about getting back into comics.
I don't even know what we're at right now. So
I think that was my fifth one. Wait,
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
cool. For me, I think there is no more perfect of a story, no better story for Superman than All-Star Superman. I think that it's a beautifully told story, and for all of Grant Morrison's quirks as a writer, and how he can go a little bit too, at times, I think All-Star Superman is really that book where he just reins it in enough, and he gives you a beautiful story where you have Superman, who he is unfortunately dying because he has absorbed way too much sunlight, and he's just got I think he's got like a few months left, and he's going about and fixing the world and setting up basically a life without him. It's an amazingly well thought out, well paced story with Frank Quitely. I get his art isn't for everybody, but dude, his art in this is just gorgeous. There are so many panels here that are referenced in everyday stuff now. There's obviously the one with the little girl that she's about to jump off the building. There's the cover where he's just kind of sitting on the cloud and he's just chilling and relaxing. And it's such a beautiful and perfect book, honestly.
Well, I remember watching your video back before, back when I was just doing collected editions. I think you were in your parents' bedroom or something.
A long time ago.
Yeah. And you talked about that moment where the girl's standing on the building and how it's relatable, and his words that calmed her down, that her doctor really was delayed because he happened to hear it. That her doctor got delayed, and she's so depressed that she wants to jump. Yeah. And he just goes there and gives her soothing words that basically say, you've got this and I've got your back. I'm right here and it's going to be okay.
Your doctor was late and you're stronger than you think you are. And it's such a beautiful moment because it's Superman, who is the strongest being on the planet, just embracing somebody who has just pretty much given all hope and saying, no, you're still stronger than this.
Right.
Oh, God, it's one of those moments that I would imagine as a comic book writer or even a writer, you just wish you had one of those moments in your back catalog that's just so iconic.
Yeah. Well, James has already put up your link to that from 10 years ago, at least, maybe 9 years. So that's awesome. Yeah. Go see Young Lou giving an All-Star Superman review that I saw before I even knew him.
It's, again, if you haven't read All-Star Superman, apparently that's what James Gunn is going to use as the basis for the movie he's writing and directing. And I think we'll be in good hands if that's the tone he's going for, because that's the tone that I want Superman.
And I think I said it earlier I wasn't on Omnibros Monday, so I must have said it in Kristen, the Omnicat show, where Frank although I wonder why was I talking about Superman with Kristen? She hates Superman, but I think we got off because it was part of the April Fool's joke. But Frank Quitely, when he draws Clark Kent, he draws him as a bumbling oaf, just the big farm boy, hunched over, knocking things over. He's always in the wrong place at the wrong time, spilling things, goofing around. in the jail with Lex just being a goofy farm boy, and it works because you're like, well, now I can see how people wouldn't think he was Superman. He's just a big oaf from Smallville.
Yeah, I mean, watch Richard Donner, the first Superman movie, and you see, and I'm exhausted, so I'm blanking on his name right now. He plays Superman in the movie, and I'm really tired.
Christopher Reeves.
Thank you. You see Christopher Reeves. He does that. He does the same thing that Frank Quietly does in the book, where he's kind of hunched over, he's got the glasses on and all that stuff. And when he wants to reveal he's Superman, he stands up straight, he takes the glasses off, he fixes the hair a little bit, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I get how he's fooling everybody. God, that's such a good movie. Why can we are, 50 years out from that movie, or close to 50 years, and we still have not gotten a good Superman movie since then. One that captures that spirit.
Yeah. 1978. I was a sophomore in college. So that's 45 years. Yeah.
Jeez.
John can't wait for his first All-Star Superman read this year. Yay. They're doing a comic together. The first book of the Ambassadors. I think Mark Miller is apparently writing really well with different artists.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me do some of the chat because I'm going through a bolus right now. The unauthorized biography of Lex Luthor by James Hudnall and Adam Kubert is an underappreciated classic. Have I read that? What does that have? Kind of a big Lex on the cover posing. I wonder if I have that, but I'm not. I don't think I have this book, but I think I can picture it. I'll check this out, Conroy. There's also the panels from Saga where the girl rescued from the brothel, and she says that everything that happened to her was her fault, and Lying Cat says lying.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Man, that book took a tank for me after it came back.
Omar Reyes says Invincible, Lazarus, Deadly Class, Azarella Wonder Woman, Conan Busiek, The Goon, Black Sad, Velvet Brubaker, Mr. Miracle, and Saga. All winners.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Yeah, okay. Brian Augustin was the model. I know what book that is, but I don't think I own it, but I can picture it. Yeah, all right, good. That gives me a reason to live and order from in-stock trades. But it's probably out of print by now. Yeah, it's a prestige format book like 1989. Lex Luthor, he's posing on the cover. I can just see it. Yeah. Unofficial biography is drawn by Eduardo Barreto. Where's Rodimus Prime Rib?
Yeah, he's not here tonight. I just realized that. Yeah.
You can see my Spanish is already dropping down because I haven't been challenged by Rodimus. This sucks. Let's see what I'm still doing. Well, I think I've done this long enough. I'm gonna give myself another minute. Beep doop doop doo 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 doo. Okay, nobody's saying anything. I'm gonna throw in a book. I'm not going to say it changed my life, but at the time it was a comic book. This is back when I was just getting back into comic books. And I don't even know how I got into this. I didn't see him on Letterman until afterwards. I think maybe that I just picked up a comic in my LCS in the late 80s. And it was slice of life stuff like I had never read before. And that's Harvey Picar's American Splendor.
Oh, wow. Wow. You were pulling that out.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Yeah. It didn't change my life, but it changed. Well, it changed my comics life because he has all sorts of different artists in here, including Crumb, giving just, you know, his life. And he's, you know, it's just like standing in line. Well, they made a movie of it that was brilliant.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, awesome. And then they had the cartoon, and then they had the real Harvey P card. It was brilliantly done. Yeah, R. Crumb and lots of other artists are in this, because he and R. Crumb were friends in Cleveland when Crumb was drawing for American Greetings, I think it was. And they both had a love for 78 records, and Picard was a famous jazz critic, I guess. But it's all different artists, and it's all slice of life, but they don't all have endings. Like, it'll just be him standing there, and that's the end of the story. Or he'll be in an elevator with a guy that tells a joke, and the last panel will be just him looking at the guy like there's no end to it. It's just like, well, that's where the story ends. He didn't have anything else to say. And I don't know, it made me really want, it sent me on a big, long slice of life buying spree, where I was buying mail order from all these houses, I don't know, Fantagraphics, Toronto Quarterly, wherever, and I'd special order them, just basic slice of life stuff, and I was way into it. And I'm still into it. I find that people's I find reading about other people that aren't celebrities, you know, that are just regular people, they can make their lives, everybody's lives can be more interesting, I think, if you look at the little, not the sum of us, but like the little things that make up our day. Like my, you know, he'd take going to the grocery store, or my going to physical therapy or something. I just cooked chicken without my dog in the kitchen for the first time, and that was traumatic. And I mean, but that's a story. These are little moments that make up your day. And I think that I can't say he was the forerunner, but I think he helped popularize it with his appearances on Letterman and stuff that I saw much later. But I have one book. I have a ton of his books in floppy form and in trade paperback. And a lot of them are with R. Crumb, and it's really interesting to see their dynamic. And I just, I love this. And Conroy Jet, Conroy Jet, this is the book that the Minister of Comics wanted to steal from me because he can't find it. I have Low Life over in my Brubaker section. I'm organized. I have an organized Lemire section and an organized Brubaker section. And then all my Brubaker books are like this big, and Slice of Life is like this tiny Low Life rather is this tiny book about what a scumbag he was. And he, you know, he wrote it and he drew it, and he was basically saying, I was this jerk. It's really great. Oh, Spy from Near Mint Condition? No. Famous artist Josh Greathouse, who showed me some of his art today or yesterday on IG. He's got a bright future. Actually, he's been drawing for quite a while for money. So good for him.
Good for him.
Need to read more American Splendor. You do. I'm surprised there's no Omni type book for that series, and that movie was excellent. I don't know, you know, he passed away, and the earlier ones were all self-financed by him, where he wanted comics to be something that they weren't. He thought of it as like the perfect medium, and his stories were perfectly done in the comic book, but I think he had a hard time, of course, getting a distributor.
Yeah.
And so anthologies were the only way I could find him. I don't have, I mean, I have a lot of the early ones, but I certainly don't have the very first ones. But I think that influenced a lot of people.
Good choice.
I can call you. I can turn you back into the spy rat bastard if you want. Oh yeah, you missed Bar. Josh and Bar take over the chat when they are with. No, she went to her Passover Seder. I think she went to dinner.
I think she was coming back from Passover. I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought she was going to dinner. Okay. Yeah, Kenny, I think you dig that book. Alex is Alex by Eddie Campbell is a great slice of life work. I haven't said Mouse. I love Mouse. I can't say enough things about Mouse, but it wasn't the one I pulled to restart me. Although I did read it early on in my rebirth, so to speak, of when I got back into comics.
My next one, I am going to go with Jimmy Corrigan, just so I can swear all over again for wasting my fucking time with that book. That Frankenstein bastard was the most dull and droll story I think I was ever forced to try to sit through and read.
Which one was it?
Jimmy Corrigan.
Was the smartest boy on earth? I mean, Jimmy Corrigan, I think that was Jimmy Corrigan.
I think it was horrible. And you have people on the New Yorker going, oh, God, it's the most prestigious and brilliant. Get the fuck out of here. No, seriously, I would pick Captain America Ed Brubaker's run.
I looked at that and I was thinking about that too.
Oh, come on, it's the best Captain America run of all time. Introduces the character of Winter Soldier. We love Winter Soldier. Brings back Bucky, which the comic book rule was the characters that always stay dead are Uncle Ben and Bucky. You don't bring them back at all.
And Bruce Wayne's parents.
And they've broken that over the last few years, but that gave us a really great story in Flashpoint. So I love this run. It's so great. It's so good. So good. The only thing is that I think it loses steam towards the end.
Oh my! Get off my air!
No. Hear me out. For me, it loses steam towards the end because I wanted to see Bucky keep the mantle of Captain America, and I think they chickened out and just bailed on it way too quick. The guy wears the mantle of Captain America for like a month, and then Steve's like, "Ta-da!" and he pops back up into the picture.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Complete 8-Ball. That's a great comic. I read that in the 90s along with Hate. Here's Josh Greathouse's Instagram, which I need to follow you, Josh. You rat bastard, you. You know, here's a good point about Roguish Type brings up Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. I couldn't read that book. I really tried. I understand that he was walking you through how to better appreciate comics, but I really got bored with it. User error, that I know a lot of people loved it and it helped a lot of people. But I had a tough time getting through that book.
It's a little dull.
Dry. Yeah. I felt, the effort he makes is monumental. And based on the fact that they are teaching college courses based on this book.
Yeah.
I know I'm the outlier, so I know that other people feel differently, but it sort of read like a textbook to me in the illustrated format, and I was like, I get it, but I'm just not getting it. So, but a Roguish Type, you're not wrong. It's just it was me. It's not him. It's me. Although other people seem to agree, but that doesn't take away from. Oh, stop it! Stop that.
No, I've heard it's very dry, and I've heard it's the equivalent to if you really want to understand what it takes to put out a book every month, that is the book to get. but it also reads like a textbook.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my knock on it. So let's see. We've done 7 books. I'm cheating with this one. But I realize this is the only way I own this book. This was the book that turned it all around for me in 85 and brought me back into comics. So I would want to restart with this. I'd like this to be the first book I read because it would restart me and get me jacked up again to read comics. Oh God, I hate you so much.
Sorry, I didn't mean. I shouldn't cut you off. I just couldn't resist. I apologize.
This is the complete Frank Miller Batman that's got not only Dark Knight Returns. This is the only way I have Dark Knight Returns, but it's also got Batman Year One. And so those, you read those back to back. They're amazing. I was a little critical of the way he depicted Selina in Year One, but that, even back then when I read it, I was a little critical of it, but it works in the format that it is. But Dark Knight Returns, I mean, this is how it starts. Vowing upon his parents' death to rid the city of the criminal element, the Batman has over the years fought crime in its many macabre forms. For the last 10 years, no one has seen or heard from him until now. That is, until now. And then this book just turns into something I had never read before in comics and was just shocking to me how great it was. I can't say anything about Dark Knight Returns that we haven't already, everybody said. And, but so I'm not going to go on at length. Everybody knows how great Dark Knight Returns is, but that's what kicked it off for me in 85. And really made me want to get back into comics because I was like, if this is what comic books are like now, this is really interesting. So this is my 8th choice.
Good stuff. Very good stuff.
And so far, I've read it several times and it hasn't come apart. These things are apparently famous for coming apart. This and the Joker leather-bound book, which I don't know why I have, because I hate Joker so much. I think I got it for $10 or something.
For me, the next one is Day Tripper.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Day Tripper is a book that it just gets better as you get older, and it grows with you as you get older. And even if you are somebody that is, a lot older in age already, you can look back and you could point to various points in your life where you can relate to the book. I think it's so beautifully well drawn. The dialogue can be a little bit flowery, if there was one critique against it, but outside of that, it's such a touching and heartfelt story about all the moments in life that we go through and how they end up leading to ultimately the conclusion of some of your life, and you look back on it and you remember them fondly, and oh my God, I don't know how you get through that book, and I don't know how you have a dry eye. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I would say it's a perfect comic book.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be in everybody's collection. And a brilliant Vertigo book. Slow clap for Dark Knight Returns. The complete good Frank Miller Batman. Okay. Roguish Type says, I get it. Not everyone is interested in theory or how the media is actually made from an academic point of view. Yeah. It's true. A complete legit recommendation. It just didn't hit for us. Okay, Dark Knight Returns is a masterclass in comic book storytelling. 85, I was in diapers. Oh, diapers. Well, lucky you. 20 years, I'll be in diapers. I remember getting that Frank Miller Dark Knight book at Walden Books back in the day. Still the best collection from that era.
Yeah. And then they tried to
Kabuki
do-
by the girlfriend stealer David Mack gets better with each volume. I haven't told you this story.
Do you remember when they tried to do the year 1 Absolute Edition and they put the book in twice?
Oh yeah, once in black and white or something, and then
Yeah.
once in color.
Yeah, to try to justify the price of it.
And I sold my Absolute Dark Knight Returns because it had freaking Dark Knight Strikes Back or Strikes Again or whatever it is, or Strikes Out.
It strikes out.
And when I found that out, I was just like, oh, good, Dark Knight Returns. And I was like, whoa, I'm getting rid of this.
You had the Homer moment. That's good. That's bad.
That's bad. It also comes with a curse.
Can I go home now?
Yeah. I need to read J Tripper while not related. Oh, blankets. Yeah. 2 books I've been reading sometime.
Blankets is beautiful.
My David Mack story is that on Friday, my daughter had her roommate and her best friend over for birthday dinner. And her roommate, who is a very interesting and unusual person. She's actually very striking looking, very pretty. She dresses up like the 50s all the time. Her hair's done in the 50s. Her clothing's done in the 50s. Her home's decorated in the 50s. She's just got style. And she, her brother was a comic book collector. He's no longer with us, but her older brother was a comic book collector. And he went to a con with his girlfriend at the time. And David Mack stole his girlfriend from him at that con. And at that con. And then she came crawling back to the brother like 2 months later. And his sister was like, don't take her back. I mean, look what happened. It'll happen again. And I guess it was a sad story. He just carried the torch for her. But David Mack is apparently a girlfriend stealer, and she's still quite bitter over it. The answer to this, Kenny, is yes. Get them Silver Ages out before I croak.
Nice.
Well, that makes it even worse, Marcelo. He just borrowed her. Your one is included twice in the absolute original colors and the recolored version. Okay. You know what's impressive, I have to say offhand, is that you're pulling these from memory.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get them in physical format or I can't talk about them. I would have just been on the air going, Batman books, Gwenpool, Alfred E. Newman. I don't know. It would have been you have a great memory for that kind of thing. And Absolute Justice.
Ooh.
Now, this is one of my all-time favorite books, but it's got a great story with great art, fabulous art by Alex Ross. Jim Kruger writes it, and I think this is the first thing I ever read by him, and I think he does a lot of the Earth X stuff for Marvel. But the story, I mean, in a nutshell, is that criminals have banded together and are doing a bunch of good in the world. And my memory's so bad, I have to read this once a year to remember what the twist is. There's a twist going on in there, and I never remember what it is. So I love that about me, that I'm only in regards to this. I hate that I have a bad memory about everything else, but I love that I can keep rereading this because I love this story so much. I just think it's so well written, so laid out perfectly. And you know, Alex Ross, I don't know who does it better than Alex Ross. You can have your favorite artist, but what he accomplishes in this and in Kingdom Come, which I had up here for a sec and then decided to get Absolute Justice. to me, this is the pinnacle of superhero comics.
Okay. Good choice. Very good choice. I will go, because I have to have a Batman title on this list.
Oh,
I'm going to go with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's New 52 Batman.
oh, good choice.
I'm not going with the Frank Miller stuff, simply because I think the origin story, I think year one is stronger for me than Dark Knight Returns. And I think everybody already knows the origin story. So you can kind of miss that.
Mm.
I think if you want to jump into a very great modern day Batman run, then that is 100% the run to jump into. It's got all your favorite villains in it. It has a great Riddler story. Joker pops in. You know, for those of you out there that are fans of Joker, I know Jess and I are getting kind of tired of the character.
Oh, but he's a really evil, twisted, maniacal Joker.
He is terrifying in this.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, Scott Snyder pulls from his horror roots to give you a Joker that is absolutely 100% terrifying. And just an all-around amazing run. And credit where credit is due. Greg Capullo draws almost the entire fucking thing. I think there's only, what would you say, just 4 issues at tops that he doesn't draw it, and went for 50-something issues?
Wow. I had forgotten that. I thought he was on board for the whole thing. I had forgotten that there were a few issues that he didn't do.
I think there was a handful of issues that he just needed a break. Just because it's not that easy. Still, the output is insane from him. And
that thing was monthly too.
Yes, that was a monthly, and he rarely missed a date. It is such a good run, honestly, guys. Pick it up. It's, for me, the modern Batman run.
And in that same vein, I almost pulled Jeff Johns' Justice League, New 52 Justice League, because that's my favorite Justice League that of all Justice Leagues. And I almost pulled that, but because I love Silver Age Justice League, didn't care that much for Bronze Age Justice League. But this one starts out, I'm not sure why. Some people say it starts out slow, but I feel like it starts out perfectly, because the heroes don't know each other exist. Like Batman's climbing up on a roof, and Green Lantern shows up and says, "Batman, you're real?" And Batman says, "And you're too bright," because the police helicopters are right there. "You're too bright." And they meet for the first time, and I thought, that is a really cool origin that we're looking at. What would happen if they met in this era? And they do meet, and I thought that thing took off and went great the entire run. So I didn't pull it, but gosh, I love it so much. OmniDog. 2 European series you might be interested in checking out: Druna by that person, and The Mercenary by that person, both published in English. I have heard of Druna. I don't think I've heard of The Mercenary, but I will write down Druna. You and Mark Spector from Sweden are going to kill me with all these European recommendations. There's so many good ones. I don't know the other Justice book. I know that there's only one Justice book, but Alex Ross did Kingdom Come, and he did Marvels, which I could have picked because that turned things around for me, like back in 1992 or whenever it came out. I can't think of what else besides Kingdom Come, Marvels, and Justice that he might have drawn. I don't know. Uh-oh. Thanks a lot. Recommending an out-of-print book to me. Okay, I think people find slow what comes after Origin and before Forever Evil. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Is that when Trinity of Sin happens?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, the Paul Dini anthology stuff, the world's greatest superheroes. Yeah, he draws all that. Thank you, NFL dude. Yeah, that's great too. World's greatest superheroes. It was all originally in magazine form. Batman, Superman, Shazam, Wonder Woman. I think there's a Justice League story in there. That's all great too by Paul Dini. Thanks, NFL dude. Painted fantasy science fiction series. That sounds good. Is that out of print too? What are you doing to me, Lars? I'll write it down. I feel like I've heard of Druna though. Watch, I'll probably have both of these somewhere and find them. Mercenary. Okay. We're on our last one.
All right, one more.
This is impressive. You're doing them all from memory.
Thanks. You go or I go?
Mm-hmm.
I go. Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah.
were going. So for me, shoot, give me a second. Kind of pouring through that Rolodex in my brain.
Black Cat, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you like that series.
I gotta give it a shot. I have to. I mean, I wanted to go with my all-time favorite series, but it's too obvious at this point, so I'm gonna avoid that. I'm not gonna do Preacher because I've talked at length about it. So I'm gonna go with Punisher Max by Garth Ennis.
Ooh.
In what I think is the perfect and quintessential run of Punisher. This is not to be confused with the stuff he did for Marvel Knights, which I didn't think was as strong. But Punisher Max is so
Wait,
good.
Garth Ennis or Jason Aaron?
Garth Ennis.
Garth Ennis. Okay.
Yes, Garth Ennis. Jason Aaron wrapped up that character.
Yeah.
Quite literally, and I think Garth Ennis really gets what makes the Punisher, and why the Punisher is awesome. There is one particular arc involving the widows of a bunch of the mob bosses that he's killed that I think is brilliant. It's so much fun. There is the heartbreaking arc called Slavers that involves.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It is really rough.
It's one of the. So Garth Ennis is kind of known for a lot of shock value. But the thing is, in the Slavers story, he's not really going for shock value. He's just telling the story of it is what it is with human trafficking, which makes it even way more tragic, especially when you get to the ending of that story. And seeing the Punisher just fully unload clip after clip after clip into human traffickers just lights up my little black heart all the more. Oh my god, it is so good, dude. One of my favorite moments in that run is where the Punisher goes up to this building of like this CEO of a company. I forgot what it was that they did. It's been years since I've read it. And the CEO is like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna throw me out of the building? Like the glass won't break." And Punisher just grabs her and slams her head into the glass. And he keeps slamming her head into the glass until the glass breaks and he throws her out the building. It's over the top, but not too over the top. And the thing I love about it the most is that I love horror films. And really what Frank Castle is in that book is just a slasher that you are rooting for as he tears his way through the most vile and despicable human beings. Not only that, it gives us Barracuda. And I actually like Barracuda as a villain.
Yeah. To all that. Yeah. I totally agree with that choice. FF by Wade and Waringo on the list. It wasn't, but that's a solid choice. That is one of my all-time favorite books, and I think Fantastic Four by Hickman is second to this. I think this is my first favorite FF. Now, Super Laughheart says there's also the Treasury-sized Batman War on Crime. I think that's what's in World's Greatest Superheroes, because they were all Treasury-sized magazines. I feel like Batman War on Crime is in World's Greatest Superheroes. Where are you? And I didn't put in Watchmen.
Yeah.
But I thought about it, and I felt like it changed. I mean, I read that and Dark Knight Returns back to back, and that's what got me back into comics. But it was one I considered. But the last one is the absolute of Green Lantern, Green Arrow. One thing you get is unretouched Neil Adams art, and you can't get that in very many places. And it's beautiful with Dick Giordano doing the inks, and Denny O'Neil's stories are rocking amazing. And it was the first book to give comics. I mean, I feel, this is my opinion, this is the first book to give comics. It was the birth of having a social conscience in comics. Especially with this is one of the all-time most famous panels, I think, in comics history, where I've been reading about you, how you work for the Blueskins, and how on a planet someplace you helped out the Orange Skins, and you've done considerable for the Purple Skins. Only there's skins you'd never bothered with, the Black Skins. I want to know, how come? Answer me that, Green Lantern. And he says, I can't. And
it's an iconic page.
Yeah, and it's Green Lantern realizing that he needs to concentrate on what's going on Earth. He's a cop for on Earth too, as well as the solar system. And they deal with all kinds of radical stuff. And well, let me show you the cover. That was the cover to the last issue. And 89, yeah. This is what I brought into the car after I bought my comic books, and my mother saw this of a guy strapped to the back of like a Boeing 707 or whatever, and she saw that, and my mother said, "What are you reading? That is in such poor taste." And I was like, well, blah blah blah, and I tried to just
blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm like, you need to understand the story and the characters, Mom, or else I said, leave me alone. I probably said, leave me alone. Knowing me back then, I was probably 14, so I didn't want any of that. So yeah, but this birth of social conscious, unretouched, perfect Neil Adams, Dick Giordano art, and great stories by Denny O'Neil that just turned the comic world around.
This is also where Speedy becomes a heroin addict, right?
Well, yeah. You have the answer to everything, Green Arrow. What's your answer to this? My ward is a junkie.
Yeah.
Tying off on the cover.
I remember that.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's Hondo. The intro to the very first book of Ennis Punisher is simple yet brilliant. Tells you what's in store. Love it. Dream Team would be Ennis plus Zek doing a Punisher story. I just finished reading first Punisher Max Omni. Born is amazing. It is good at the start of the main series. Then the double hit of Up is Down, Black is White, and The Slavers is back to amazing.
It's fantastic.
Super Left Heart says Hellblazer Volume 1. Hellblazer's Damnation's Flame. JFK walking, reciting his speech he should have held in Dallas and trying not to bleed out in limbo. That's right.
I haven't read this. What's this?
I don't remember that one. I felt like I read all of Hellblazer, Damnation's Flame. Of course, I finished them way back when. What issue and who's the writer of this one, Lars? Because I'm blanking on that.
Yeah, if you look at the pedigree of Hellblazer, the writers and artists that have been on that book is incredible. It is the best of the best, starting with
Yeah.
Alan Moore, who created the character. And it's just insane how many legends wrote on that book.
Yeah. Such an important comic book series, the time, and it's aged as well. It's aged well. Yeah, that's right. Should have had Ganthet explain the context to your mom. The little blue guy. Yeah, my mom would have freaked out.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have taken it well.
I gotta get going, Jess.
Okay. You can find the bestest discounts in the world on instocktrades.com, where you can get your collected editions from 35 to 65% off, depending on the sale. Don't forget your 2% loyalty discount. At the end of every month, we give away a $50 gift card courtesy of instocktrades.com. $50 or more in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's instocktrades.com. It is Garth Ennis and somewhere in the 70-ish issues. So somewhere in the 70s. 70. I'm going to go look right now for that. I forgot all about that. So peace and love. Thank you all for tuning in. We actually talked about the topic. We had Very Fine Condition on.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to do a show bashing Very Fine Condition all night. So I think he decided to show up to make sure we didn't do that. So where can they find you on the internet there, Lou?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on YouTube and Comics Guide 101 on Twitter.
And you can find me, OmniDog, and OmniDog's Vault, and OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram. Peace and love. Peace and love. Okay, Josh, thanks. Oh, no, he was saying sending that PDF tonight. Okay, cool. So let's see. And since I didn't play it at the beginning, let me play we have a theme song. So I will do that to play us out. And it's really quick, so I have to go fast. Peace and love. Peace and love.